David Hooper, Build a Big Podcast. This is the marketing podcast for podcasters. And I just got this thing in the mail called an Amazon Halo. It's similar to a Fitbit, except one of the big differences is it will analyze your voice. I'm setting it up now. I came up to my studio to set it up because this is the quietest place in the house. And I thought, why not do a recording of me setting this up? Then I'm going to come back later and share the results with you, because this is going to analyze my voice and let you know, or let me know, rather, you already know this, if I come across as agitated or angry or any number of emotions. So here we go. Let's see. It says, let's learn your voice. Next, you'll read some book quotes out loud so Halo can recognize your voice. Please find a quiet spot before you begin, which, of course, I've done. And here we go. Read out loud in your natural voice. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities. All right, well, it knows that. There's no living thing that is not afraid when it faces danger. True courage is in facing danger when you are afraid. Hope it's not judging me on my bad reading. Learning does not make one learned. There are those who have knowledge and those who have understanding. Of course, there must be lots of magic in the world, he said wisely one day, but people don't know what it is like or how to make it. It had no pictures or conversations in it. And what is the use of a book, thought Alice, without conversations? Oh, I screwed that up. Sorry, Halo. And what is the use of a book, thought Alice, without pictures or conversations? All right, it pieced that together for me. It says it's analyzing my voice. Yeah, I just got this thing. It's pretty small. It's like a bracelet. Maybe it's definitely not as significant as my watch. You're going to wear it on your, well, I'm wearing it on my right arm because I wear a watch on my left arm. And I don't have a huge watch. I'm not like Puff Daddy. I've got probably a regular size watch. All right, updating the band. Looks like it's resetting. So as far as I know, it's analyzing my tone. And it has, I guess, the different emotions that it can have. It says notable moments and also most recent. I'm going to come back once Halo has analyzed me. So that's, I guess, part one of Amazon Halo. You may be able to use this thing for podcasters. I don't know. I'm going to find out a lot. Or maybe not anything. We'll find out. So stay tuned. And we're back. Thanks to the magic of podcasting. It's 3 days later, and here I am. I'm wearing this thing the whole time, and I'm going to talk to you about it. The first thing is, and this is the reason that I'm reviewing this on a podcast about podcasting, I was thinking it would be interesting to have Amazon Halo analyze my speech, because the whole point of that function of this thing is so you know how you're coming across. I thought, that might be interesting for podcasters. I haven't found it that helpful. It says you are neutral 88% of the time. At this moment, you were surprised. And at this moment, you sounded angry. And at this moment, you sounded perplexed. Maybe if you're in a corporate environment and you've got a schedule where you were in a meeting at that time, you can go back and you can analyze that particular part of your day. That might be helpful. But in general, I don't know that that's going to necessarily be helpful to you. I'm going to give you an example of what this is, and I'm going to tell you what it says about it, because there's a live function on here. Like right now, I can get my heart rate. I can get my tone as well. Here's what it says. See real-time voice analysis in live mode. Here we go. F*** you son of a bitch. Irritated, disgusted, angry. I love you, baby. Let's get married. Affectionate, appreciative, warm, right? It's obvious. Hey, it's Build a Big Podcast. David Hooper here, coming to you here, there, everywhere. That's amused, stubborn, aggressive, condescending, opinionated. I don't know that this is that helpful. Maybe it would be for you if you had like no awareness of how you're coming across. Here's the conversation summary. You sounded mostly amused, but also angry and affectionate. Yeah, probably. 3 different examples. Let's go to the rest of it. I wasn't going to do this originally. I got Amazon Halo because I was interested in 2 things. I was interested in activity levels. It's basically a Fitbit. And I've been doing my coronavirus, what I call the prison workout, since the gym was shut down and now it's open, but not really safe to go to. Instead of lifting weights or doing something like a Stairmaster or a treadmill, what I've been doing is I've been jumping rope and I have been doing body weight exercises. And I did a lot of body weight exercises already when I was at the gym, but even more now because I don't have a weight set, although I do have something called a gorilla bow, which is a big ass bow looking thing. And you strap these bands on it and it's supposed to be like weights, but without lugging a bunch of weights around. So I was curious about that. It's like, all right, I'm going to analyze my activity to make sure that I'm not getting out of shape. I'm staying in shape and that whatever I'm doing at home is going to work for me. I was curious about that. I was curious about how I'm sleeping because as somebody who's self-employed, that's a thing, right? You do your own schedule. But without having the external elements of my schedule right now, because of COVID-19, I'm not meeting people in person. I'm doing a lot of stuff via Zoom. I'm not going to the gym. Sometimes I don't know what day it is. And that's how I would keep track of the days through appointments, or I'm doing this workout this day, and I know I've got this interview this day. All bets are off, man. And that includes my schedule. So I thought it would be really interesting to analyze sleep. I'm always trying to sleep better. So I'm going to talk to you about those 2 elements of this if you're curious about Amazon Halo. My activity for this week, they do it via points. And when I say this week, that's the last 3 days. I had 113 points today. I had 12,614 steps, which isn't entirely accurate. That includes about 50 minutes of jumping rope, 566 points for the last 3 days. And to give you an example of points and what points mean, I believe that the reason they did this is so you will not become obsessed with calories or something that might negatively impact you. Because we're going to get into this in just a second. When you got all this data, if you're one of those people that has disordered eating or eating disorder, however you want to look at that, maybe you're just obsessed with stats. This could be a very tricky thing for you. I mentioned the points that I was at. Why 150? Because weekly 150 is fine, according to this. A weekly activity score of 150 points helps keep your heart healthy by meeting the minimum physical activity recommendations from the American Heart Association, as well as the latest medical research. They recommend at least 150 minutes of moderate activity or 75 minutes of intense activity each week, or a mix of both. And that's how these points are calculated. Intense activity, 2 points for every minute of that. Moderate activity, 1 point for every minute. Light activity, 1 point for 20 minutes of that type of activity. Sedentary time, you lose a point for every hour. And like I said, I got 150 points. Man, I was there after the first jump rope workout that I did, which Halo thinks that is running. And I don't know why, because I'm not going anywhere. Maybe they think I'm on a treadmill or something. So it has a point system. If you're interested in something like that, it thinks there are steps. And I guess when I'm jumping up and down, again, today was 12,614 steps. That's what I've got this moment. It has a sleep element. I was curious about this. This is another reason that I decided to test this. Last night I had 75 out of 100. It says that is good. I was asleep for 6 hours and 32 minutes. It took me 17 minutes to fall asleep, which I was surprised about. Apparently I was awake for 35 minutes during the night. And what's interesting about this is it analyzes you. You're either awake, there's REM, there is light sleep, there's deep sleep, and you can see the scale going up and down. And who knows, maybe I'm on the verge of death or something, but I've got a lot of little awake moments there. I did wake up one time in the middle of the night, had a big drink before bed, not always the best thing, got up to go to the bathroom. And I did get back in bed after I was awake for the morning, just kind of lying there thinking, like, what am I going to do here? Anyway, maybe it thought I was still asleep. My sleep score is good, as I mentioned. Great would have been maybe 80 or 85. I don't know if that's necessarily accurate. What I'm really wondering about is this thing called a body scan. I looked this up. It takes a photo of you from the front, from the back, from each side, and then it analyzes you. And it says, you're this fat. So that was a shock to me. My body composition is not where I want it to be. This thing says I'm obese. And I don't believe that. I don't think that's right. I'm 175, 180 pounds, somewhere around there. I've not had an accurate measurement because I don't have a scale here. But I'm 6'3", and I'm going out and jumping rope at a pretty high intense level for 50 minutes to an hour at a time, burning about 1,000 calories. To give the Amazon Halo credit, I thought, maybe the photo was dark. And my wife, being a professional photographer, we've got a studio here. So we turn the lights on, let Halo do its thing, and I'm 1% fatter with the lights. It is what it is, man. And if it's inaccurate, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to hopefully have that same inaccuracy when I try to work on this stuff. And it does have me aware of activity level, which I think is easy to lose track of when you're somebody like a podcaster and you're in the studio a lot, or you're editing at a computer, or you're like me and you're also writing at a computer, you're doing Zoom meetings, you're not going out like you used to. I think it's easy to lose track of activity. It's easy to lose track of your schedule, as I mentioned, because I don't have those anchors, like I'm doing yoga on Tuesdays and yoga on Thursdays and yoga on Saturdays. I'm like, what day is it? Because I'm doing my own thing. I do whatever I want to do. I do it whenever I want to do it. Sleep is one of those things that it's easy to lose track of. It is also easy to lose track of how much you are snacking, meals, schedules get weird. Like, oh man, I don't really have time to eat a whole meal or cook a whole meal. I'm going to just grab a spoonful of peanut butter, maybe 8 or 10. And I was talking to my wife about this afterwards. I said, man, I'm obese. This is embarrassing, man. Never had this kind of issue. And she said, how often do you think you're eating that peanut butter? I said, I don't know. She said, well, I see those containers, and it's a fairly large container. I don't know how many ounces it is, but apparently each of these containers has 5,000 calories, and I'm eating one of them every 5 days, give or take a day. So there you go. There you go. Thank you, Amazon Halo, for letting me know that I need to be more aware of this. You didn't help me with voice, which is why I got this thing. You may be helping me with sleep. I don't know. Is it worth it right now? $65 is what this thing cost me. I was invited by Amazon. Hey, you want to check this out? Yeah, I'll check it out. I've not been a fan of things like Apple Watch or Fitbit because I don't like the idea of having another screen that I need to look at or be distracted by. Amazon Halo has no screen. It's like wearing a bracelet. I wouldn't say it's fashionable. You probably wouldn't notice it. So I've got it on my right hand, got my watch on my left hand. You probably wouldn't think much about it if you saw it. I like the concept of that. No screen. I tested it. I felt I needed to look at my sleep, be more aware of things like activity, even though I'm an active person. I work out 7 days a week. But obviously, that's not going to help you enough when you're eating 1,000 calories of peanut butter every day. So there you have it. I saw that Dave Jackson from School of Podcasting, by the way, he has gotten one of these things too. I mentioned Dave here because this is a podcast on podcasting. You probably know Dave from the School of Podcasting. I sent him a text after looking at that body composition score. And this is what I said. I said, saw your post about getting a Halo. I'm wearing one right now. See my Twitter page about the body composition feature. Curious to hear your thoughts once you try it out. He didn't mention anything about that. He asked me about another podcast I was working on. And then he sends me this text. That body image is creepy. This thing, it takes your picture and then it gives you a black and white drawing of yourself. Yeah, it's a bit shocking, man. It is a bit shocking. Could be helpful. It definitely helped me with my awareness because these things can get out of hand. And if there's an issue that you need to fix, could be a bad habit on your podcast. It could be that you're eating too much peanut butter. It's better to know now than later. Is it helpful for that? Yes. Could you become obsessed with it? Yes. If you're an obsessive, statistics-loving person, you've got disordered eating, eating disorder, you've got that kind of issue, it may not be the best thing for you. This is the irony of this. And I think this is a good place to end it. I went to give blood 4 weeks ago, and they check your blood pressure, they check your iron. My blood pressure was probably the lowest that it has ever been. It was 106/69. So not a low blood pressure, but a lot lower than the average person, and definitely lower than mine had been in the past. She says, "Are you a runner?" I said, "No, but I jump rope." So I am in shape. I do feel great. In a lot of ways, I'm probably in the best shape that I have been. But there's one thing that I need to work on: eating 1,000 calories a day of peanut butter. Thank you, Amazon Halo. If you want those kind of statistics, check it out. Maybe you'll find it helpful. If you do have one of these, and everybody seems to be getting them right now, this is the first round that they're sending out. They weren't available to the general public, and now they're starting to become available. Let me know. Reach out to me on Twitter at David Hooper. If you've got a podcast and you want to grow your podcast audience, let me give you the information on that. Go to bigpodcast.com. You can subscribe to this podcast. That's normally what I'm talking about. And I thought this was going to be about growing a podcast through analyzing your voice. Maybe you could become more friendly thanks to the Amazon Halo. That feature, not very helpful. If that's the only feature that you're looking for, pass on the Halo. But I can help you do other things. I can help you clarify your message. I can help you attract an audience. I can help you make money with your message. And the way to do that is to subscribe to this podcast, bigpodcast.com/subscribe. You'll see this podcast there. I've got some other podcasts that will help you to do those things. Grow your podcast, get more people to your podcast, get more connection with those people, make money with your message. That's all at bigpodcast.com/subscribe. Thank you for listening, and I will see you on the next episode of Build a Big Podcast.